I'm Rob.
And I'm Louie.
And this is the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners review
by Barefoot Gaming.
What's the gist, Louie? What's the story here? What are we doing?
The gist is the world has ended like it does
in the Walking Dead universe.
Yes.
So this is a game, and I'm going to mention this right off the bat, is there's no teleportation, smooth movement only. They do have comfort mode options so that you can adjust, like, what happens is the screen gets smaller, like you get a gray shroud that kind of focuses to the center. And yeah, it's available on the HTC Vive, the Oculus Rift, Windows Mixed Reality. It's available on the Valve Index. Louie.
It'd be shorter to say the ones it's not supported
on. It really would.
So this game, you start off talking to an old man in a graveyard, and he gives you your main quest. He says there's a mother lode of weapons and food and medicine, and it's your job to go get it. How you get it and how long it takes you is kind of up to you, because not only is there the regular mission, but there's oodles of side missions to take, whether or not you want to.
And this game actually lets you make decisions that matter. So there are multiple tribes.
Yes.
Right? So you've got like your crazy voodoo people, you know, for all the crazy voodoo people that are watching this, I mean no offense, but I'm saying in the game, the crazy voodoo people, you know, they act very differently. So aside from the crazy voodoo people,
there's also military tribes, and they're not military per se, but they're very militant.
And again, every tribe that you'll run into has kind of their own feel. They'll have their own way of doing things. And you get to choose who you align with, who you don't.
Yeah.
There is a metric buttload of weapons.
Yes.
And they're all customizable.
Yes. And you can break them down when they're old and decrepit, and you can use their parts to build new ones.
Absolutely.
In all the crafting tables.
Plus there's the ability to collect like all kinds of different things inside of the game. You've got a home base that you can operate out of. The game is quite large. Do you remember how many hours this thing is?
It's roughly 18-ish hours.
Give or take, right? It's going to depend on how many of the side missions you're going on.
And how aggressive you are. If you're just running up and running and gunning, I'm more of a slow, kind of sneaking up, knife to the back of the head kind of guy. So for me, this game takes way longer than it takes some other people.
And the game can be gruesome. And I say that in a good way because I happen to I'm a big fan of horror.
Not for children.
No, not for children, because you can lop off arms, you can lop off heads.
Yes.
And by doing so, you're damaging your weapons. Your weapons have a finite amount. Like a knife isn't going to last you through the whole game. A knife will last you through a couple of fights, and then it will break, and it's good for nothing. There's different kinds, and there's a backpack on your back, and there's all this stuff around your waist that you carry with you.
Flashlight for the very dark game that you're about to play.
And I think, without going into the story, let's review this thing. Let's list pros, cons, because we're going to touch on some of the other things in the game. Louie, give me pros, give me cons. What do you think of the game? Pros. Oh, sorry. I'm going to interrupt. The game is $45.99 Canadian.
Yes.
It is
roughly 40 US.
Yeah, and 40 pounds or whatever as well. So, sorry, continue.
One of my favorite things is the knife combat, which is, I only used the pistol as a backup weapon. That was rough scenario. I had multiple incoming. I really, really enjoyed this game because I could be as sneaky as I wanted to be. And one of my downfalls on the same note is if I dropped my knife, it didn't just snap back to my inventory. It was gone, and I had to pull my backpack off if I couldn't find it because it was dark off, search through my inventory, grab another knife, put my backpack away, and I was already dead. To be fair, maybe you should be a little bit more careful with your knife. I should be more careful with my knives. I 100% agree with you. But there's a couple situations where I had my flashlight in one hand and my knife in the other, and it just worked out kind of badly.
So any other pros, any other cons?
Other pros would be this game is very expansive. They do keep you...
And expensive.
They do keep you on a track, but it feels quite large. My other con would be that even though you've already traversed over a certain terrain and you've gone kind of in a circle, there's zombies there again. and
They'll respawn, absolutely.
and I thought to myself, like, man, I really thought I'd gone through this way, and so I actually turned around and went back, not realizing that they had respawned. How about you, Rob?
Okay, so pros, I think the game is beautiful. I think as far as a VR game goes, it looks really good.
Yes.
It's not perfect, not by a long shot. Voice acting is fantastic. The fact that it feels like your decisions actually matter, that's a big deal. Because it's really easy to make any kind of storyline or light RPG, perhaps, where you're making decisions and you're going to get the same end no matter what. And here it feels like your decisions actually matter.
Yeah.
There are some cons. For me, one of the cons was the fact that anytime you want to pick something up off of the ground and you bend over, you almost always grab your own weapon because they kind of float out in front of you a little bit, especially when you crouch. And this was a big complaint when the game first came out. People said, you can't crouch in this game. You have to press your crouch button, which you can do, but you can also crouch. Developers have fixed it, but you can crouch, but you don't have room scale. So,
and when you crouch with the crouch button, you can crouch even further if you actually crouch.
I don't know if that was intentional, but yeah, you can. You can get really low, as it were. I wish this game was room scale. I'm fine with it not being multiplayer because it's got a storyline. I think it's good value. I think it has the ability to be able to replay it. I love the fact that the game doesn't really have jump scares, but there's always kind of a foreboding. Like you come up to a door and as you reach for it, you've got a weapon ready and you're halfway shaking. It's like you pull it open because there could be a zombie right there. So they're not trying to do jump scares, but when you feel overwhelmed, it's a big deal. I think they did a good job. And
the overwhelming of a zombie horde coming at you, because it takes so long to stab a zombie in the head and then rip your knife back out to be able to try again. That was kind of the worst/best part, because you're like, I could be killing these guys so much faster if you would just let me have my knife back.
But it makes you feel like the weapons have heft, the weapons have weight. Enough so that when I was fighting with an axe and a bunch of different zombies, I hurt my shoulder because I was just flailing them because I have to pull the axe out of the head as I'm swinging around trying to plant it another one, and it's not coming out, so they're dragging the zombie with me and he's stumbling around. And so highly recommended. I do like this game. I think, yes, it's expensive, but I think you're getting a lot for it. And this is a longer game. Absolutely positive.
Yes.
Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment. If you have questions about this game, questions about other games, questions about how we got so awesome. That one's harder to answer.
That is a good question for the people that might ask it.
Everybody wants to know. Right. We are out of here. We'll talk to you again real soon. See ya.
Bye.